What's up, guys? I was about to say, welcome to the podcast. I was really about to say, welcome to the podcast, y'all. Sorry about the noise in the background. I'm not sorry about the noise in the background, but be aware there may be noise in the background. So, welcome to the channel. So, I'm gonna jump right into this. This is something that I have been feeling prompted to do, but I just hadn't gotten around to it. And I figure now I have the time to do it. I have the time to do it. So if you have been on my channel, um, if you have been on this channel, if you have been on my threads, or Instagram, I have been posting information about gang stalking. Now, I have one other video on gang stalking that I did back in maybe 2004, right? And I I did some shorts, like as far as videos in between. Um but I guess I kind of left the YouTube world. This is the camera and being on YouTube is not necessarily my thing. So um it's just a bit unnatural for me. So anyways, so I have some information to share that I would like to share with you guys, and it is about gang stalking and narcissism. If you've seen the title for this particular video. Now, I'm going to be uploading a video that I did today. I think I'm gonna try to upload it by tonight. If not by tonight, I'm gonna upload it by tomorrow. And in the video, you will be able to see um, what gang stalking looks like. Um, when I was capturing the footage, there are things that I didn't even recognize while I was capturing the footage that after going back to look at the footage, I recognized it. Like one part I was walking and a car passed by and it had flickering lights. Like really fast flickering lights. And that was one of the gang stalkers that was following me. So I've been going through a little bit about myself. I've been going through gang stalking. I want to say I've been aware of it for. I've been aware of it for. It's been a long time. When I really think about it, it's been a long time. But I've been studying it more. I'll say in the last maybe 7 to 8 years, I've been studying it more, the patterns and the symbolism of it. And that's what I would like to touch on today if you get a chance to see this video. The reason why I say if you get a chance to see it is because this is live and things can happen with the Wi-Fi that I'm on. And, you know, certain things have a way of being compromised when you are speaking the truth about things that are going on. So that's the reason why I say that. Let me get some water. One of the biggest misconceptions about gang stalking is that the people that are going through it are mentally ill. And mental health is sadly but true still very taboo, especially in the Black and Brown community. Um, it seems like that sometimes you trying to take care of yourself and take care of your health, your healing can be weaponized against you. And I'm very much aware of that. And that's some of the reasons why I guess I felt a bit deterred about speaking about certain things like this, is because I know that when you're speaking about a subject that is so covert, and sometimes there's not a lot of physical evidence that it is that's going on besides the evidence that you know that is happening to you, sometimes it's hard to speak your truth because certain people, some people need to actually physically see certain things happen to you, sad but true, before they're able to believe that it's happening to you. um, this isn't like the Minority Report, that movie where they try to get the person before they commit um, the crime or whatever. So I would tell you some of the signs, like in the video is maybe 11 to 12 minutes long, and it just shows you sort of the organized chaos that they create or the organized assembly that they create to terrorize your life and torment your life. It is uh, what they're doing is um, intimidating military torture tactics to infringe on your freedom and your mental health. When I say your freedom and your mental health, I'm speaking about the people who are experiencing being targeted, being a targeted individual, um, being targeted by gang stalkers. The targeting and gang stalking and some of the tactics that they use are aligned with narcissism. They study you. They not only do they study you, they study your patterns when you go in and out, the places that you frequent, the food that you order, uh, the people that you contact. Most people phones are tapped. The jobs that you work at, um, and they a lot of times have handlers that handle your case specifically. Now, when you're being studied like this, a lot of times you may ask yourself, like, what makes a person stand out to be targeted? Which is a good question. It's a really good question. Um, there are, I can't say that I have the complete answer for that, but I will say in my case, in some cases that I have discovered with other individuals that have been targeted, is that some of them have spiritual gifts, and all of us have spiritual gifts. But I think not. But I think there are certain people who rely on their spiritual gifts, and there are certain people who their spiritual gifts are more dormant. It doesn't mean that they're not there. It just means that they're not activated, or it just means that it's not dependent on, or it's not in active use on a daily basis. Um, and sometimes in a world where there are certain beings who want to create a facade or illusion, or maybe you can go as far as saying the Matrix, they will go about creating certain um, scenarios and then feed it to the public for consumption. And those scenarios that are being created and presented to the public for consumption is sometimes theater, not real, right? I'm sure some of you guys have been seeing certain videos where uh, one of the famous videos is that the woman that was on the plane and she was screaming that certain people weren't real on the plane. Um, amongst other things where people have spoken out about certain scenarios in the world that should be questioned, that um, is quite startling, especially to people who um, that are not in that particular realm, or they're not in that particular uh, timeline. Like it's not on their, it's not on your, it's not on their um, schedule. You know what I'm saying? Certain people have things that they do on a daily basis, and that's how they live their life. And anything outside of that challenges their way of thinking and challenges their way of approaching situations. It's just not in their consciousness, right? And that that just has to be accepted and okay for a lot of people. You have to accept people for where they are in that. So, um, the when you're targeted, they know about a lot of things that you do and how you move around. Um, and what I was saying is, some people have gifts. Some people are aware of a, a lot of falsities that society has been under for some time, and they're able to see beyond that illusion, right? And so that's why I feel like, from my own personal experience, it's why some people are targeted. Now, I'm sure there may be other reasons why other people are targeted too. Um, I can only speak on my experience and what I know to be true. So, one of the topics that I wanted to speak about today are the symbols. When you are studied, a lot of people that are targeted, you have been studied since you were a child. Some people may have been studied before they were born into this place, um, and some people were studied right after their birth. Um, and these societies or cults, um, dark cults that are doing the targeting, they are affiliated with society. There are people in what you would consider a powerful position, or hold a powerful position, or powerful title in today's standards. Um, okay, and it I kind of just lost train of thought. But these dark cults and these dark groups, um, they all study up under, some people may call it like a false god, or some people may call it a dark god. But when they study you, they study to see how you tick and how you move. Most of the times, they're studying you to get a reaction out of you by touching on certain things that are fragile to you or that are very sensitive to you. And the way that they collect this information is because they've been studying you since you were a child, since you were just out of the womb. So they listen to your phone conversations. They impose on your privacy 110%. There's no privacy when you are being targeted. None. Um, they do use the spiritual realm too, so they do get readings on you to try to get hidden information. They do have wizards and warlocks that help with people in places that seem to be in high places, um, according to society standards. But we all know that, or maybe you don't know, those are just illusions, right? And so they hijack your privacy. Essentially, these are crimes against humanity that they are doing, but it's so covert that it's hard to pin a particular person and a particular action to them to be able to press charges against them. Because it's more than one person, it also makes it a bit um, tedious too, I'll say, because it's not just one person that you're focusing on, it's a whole group, which is cool because if you get one, you can get the whole group. Um, but a lot of times when they're targeting you, they look for those sensitive and fragile places. So let's just say if you were, and this is how it aligns or is parallel to narcissism. Let's just say if you are a person who went through abandonment as a child, right? You didn't feel loved, uh, you didn't receive the emotional stability that you feel like you could have received. And maybe it's left you feeling a bit isolated and things like that. Now, this is one of the tactics that they use. They will try to keep you isolated. Their workers, the people that they have working under them, they will do things and do create certain actions to where it seems like you are being pointed out, you are being targeted, or you are being isolated in a situation. It can be as simple as you walking into a place to get something to eat, and uh, there's like a flatware and tissue and things like that, or napkins that you have to get for your food. There will be one of the people who are in the cult, they will be standing there by it. And then when you go over, they'll move. So they want you to feel isolated. They want you to feel unwanted. They want you to feel unpretty. They want you to feel like nobody wants to be around you and no one likes you. Now, I'm sure people have heard things like that. That's if you've experienced abusive relationship, whether mentally, physically, or verbally, whether man or woman, you may have experienced those sort of narcissistic sort of traits in a mate where they want you to feel like that they're the only person that wants you, or they want to talk down to you, or they want to target your self-esteem in a way. One of the other signs that they do is that covertly is that they will stalk any social media that you have, and they will stalk your social media that you have, not just and they won't just comment about something openly or directly that you posted. They won't necessarily give you like a direct response. Sometimes they'll like certain things that you do, but other ways that they'll do it is they figure out the topics that you're interested in. And so when you're thinking that you're building a certain algorithm brick by brick, what they do is they target that algorithm that you are that you are invested in, and they will create certain videos or create certain threads that will come across your desk in your media in your scrolling, to continue their covert mission to let you know that they are indeed watching you. So you may go through you they may like something of yours, or you may get something that comes across your feed, and especially if you've been going through gang stalking, there are some certain signs that you just kind of know. Sometimes they'll say something indirectly that's personal to you, that you have went through, or that you may have seen throughout your day on a billboard or something like that. And if they're close proximity to you and they seen the same thing on a billboard, they may post something from their billboard to let you know that you're being followed, you're being stalked. Okay, that's how covert things are. And essentially, what you're talking about, what you're dealing with when you discuss or when you go into detail about the protocols that they're using, this is black magic. This is black magic. They are tapping, infringing on your mental health. They're infringing on your mental health. They're infringing on your spiritual health. They're infringing on your emotional health. So a lot of times when you may see, it's so very interesting because if I'm not one of those people that are fans of violence online. So if there's a video of people fighting and things of that nature, I just it's just not my thing to want to sit there and watch that. Or if there's it could be a thing where, yeah, like fighting, it's just not something that I like to watch. Um but what's interesting is that if you've ever come across a video where someone does something and everybody picks up, then people start picking up their phone and they're targeting the person who's sort of acting out. When you see videos like that, you want to really dig a little deeper as to what exactly are you seeing, what are you seeing there, and why exactly are you seeing it at that particular time. Because one of the things that the narcissism and the covert attacks that they are doing when they're gang stalking is that they'll do a lot of things under the shadow, beyond the curtain where you can't see it. And then when they get the person to respond, that's when they'll try to get things on video to get the person in some sort of trouble, so that person will look at fault for what they're doing. And I've seen that happen with certain psychics. There are certain gifted psychics that I have seen online, and sometimes they will record themselves on a day-to-day in their day-to-day life, and certain people that would talk to them or would do certain things, you could tell that it was scripted. When I say scripted, not the psychic that it was happening to, but by the people who are infringing on this person's space. And they will always try to question the integrity of the psychic. The psychic could be doing readings like in a coffee shop or doing readings in a restaurant. And then a person may come up to them and be like, "Why are you doing readings here?" Try to pick with them for some sort of reason. And when you're in this, you're able to see that there's a gang stalker that is doing that. And some people are under the impression that gang stalking is only by like random people. Mm-mm, mm-mm. There are people that are in these cults, like I mentioned earlier, that are managers, CEOs, general managers, assistant managers, cooks, uh, work in retail, that do these regular jobs that are also in these codes. So when you start to speak about handlers and the position of what a handler is, you start to get a little bit more awareness as to how are you even passed on to these people. It's a network. It is a network. It is a network. People who own housing companies, people who work in real estate, um, people who, even like where I'm at right now, I'm in the Salvation Army. There are handlers here. There are handlers here who have uh, pointed me towards certain jobs because there have another handler there that could watch me. And that's what they don't want people to know. uh, they want to continue to hide behind a title while they're driving a person crazy or trying to drive a person crazy covertly. I've had a job recently, and I'm going to speak about this more, where I cleaned at a job. I have a lot of experience. I have a degree. I was cleaning for a job, and I used to clean overnight there. And in the night, overnight, there would be people, a person hitting on the ceiling in the bathrooms when I would be cleaning. Because one of the tactics that they use in their tormenting is noise tactics. Here at the Salvation Army in Jacksonville, where I am, some of the noise tactics that they use here is they slam a lot of doors. They hit on the walls daily and consistently. So it's to trigger you. And if you study anything about chakras, if you know anything about Hinduism, anything about the chakras, the colors of the chakras, your lower chakras, and how that influences your actions in your day to day life. If you are in a space, and I guess this is a trigger warning, if you are in a space where you are in fight and flight mode, especially if you've had a traumatic childhood, and if you're in an environment where it continues to perpetuate uh, unhealthy conditions, loud noises. It could be fighting, it could be yelling, it could be a place that just feels unstable, not grounded, not loving. If you're in a place like that for a long period of time, you will start to absorb and maybe start to even perpetuate that type of behavior, or maybe even be affected by it in some sort of way where you don't feel safe, where you don't feel grounded, where you don't feel loved. And in humanity, those are the natural basics for survival. For humanity, you want to feel loved, you want to feel appreciated, you want to feel received, you want to feel like there's community there. But when you are going through situations, or going through created situations, when there are groups that are creating situations and scenarios and theater in your life to put you in this box to where you feel like uh it is only chaos, it is only uncertainty, it is only a fight or flight, then you may or may not, or you may begin to take on those characteristics and start to exercise those particular ways of being in your life because that's what is breeding in your environment. Okay. So when you see people talking about gang stalking, and I've seen a video before where this young lady was being gang stalked uh, outside of her home, and she ran to the car and she got the person's license plate. You may see that, and upon just watching it and not really having any background information about what's going on, you may say, wow, that person looks crazy. That person looked like they're running to look for a fight, to take part in something negative. But you probably didn't know how many times this person has been followed. You probably didn't know uh, the links that uh, people that target individuals will go, uh, how they will impose on your privacy, even if you have a home, just to set off your different alarms that you have. Um, if you live in an apartment, you don't know how, as their neighbor, they would get a place right by you. You thinking somebody recommended you to this place, oh, this is going to be a great new start, not knowing that these are one of the handlers that recommended this place to another handler, and they already got a part of the people from the dark code in the unit next to you, and 24 hours a day they are creating chaos to where you can't sleep, because one of the things that they try to do is they infringe on your sleep and your resting. These are military tactics that they use to torture individuals. And that's what I want you to understand. These are military tactics to torture individuals mentally. So the person will feel like, first of all, they can't fight back because they feel like they're outnumbered, that there's no way out because wherever they go, where they're being stalked, it surrounds them everywhere they go. Every place they go to, the stalkers know where they're going to go to and how to be there and how to continue to perpetuate that same behavior that the targeted individual is used to. So that targeted individual feels like, I can't do anything. I feel helpless because this thing keeps following me. So I want you to just be aware or cognizant when you see certain people spaz out. You never understand. You may not know what's going on, especially if a person has talked about being targeted by a group in some sort of way. And these are just some of the things that they do. One of the other things that they do is that, I'm gonna release that video. I hope I'm able to edit it by tonight to release it, so you'll be able to see it. But this is one of my first videos capturing it. I experience it on a daily basis, but I haven't recorded. I just don't do it. But I've been called to do it now. But uh, when I jog a lot. When I go jogging, these beings are out everywhere where I'm jogging at. The particular pathway that I jog, they're everywhere where I jog at. And they'll wait. If I'm jogging on the sidewalk, they will, let's say this is me. Do, 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 do. So I'm jogging this time. They'll do things like be looking around just in the middle of a sidewalk doing nothing until I get there or meet them there, and then they'll proceed forward or backwards. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to create this video is to talk about what you can do to help yourself. Okay. If you can start with affirmations, start with affirmations every day. Affirm great things are coming to you on a daily basis. Okay. If you can, one of the things that you can do by doing those affirmations, you create a positive bubble around you. This positive bubble that's around you will ricochet any negative energy that is protected or projected, that is projected onto you. That's how protected you will be. One of the things that you could also do is cleanse. Even if it's just with salt, take a cleansing bath on a daily basis. Cleanse your energy. If you have a smudging technique like Sage or Palo Santo, use those on a daily basis to cleanse your aura. Because the thing is that you want to elevate your aura. The thing is that the beings that are attacking you, they're on a very, very, listen to what I'm saying, they're on a very low frequency. They're on a very low frequency. And what they're trying to do is antagonize you enough to where they can feed on you. So by creating a positive atmosphere, no matter if it's just in your room, no matter if it's just in your bathroom, no matter if it's just in the closet, no matter if it's just under your bed, create a space where you can claim your mind and claim sovereignty over your mind, your body, your spirit, and your soul. As you begin to elevate, the chains will begin to relinquish. One of the things that you will come to an understanding of is forgiveness. Now you're thinking, especially if you're a targeted individual that's watching this, you're probably thinking, why would I forgive? Oh. That's where the magic is. The magic is in forgiveness. If you don't take away anything else from this video, take in forgiveness. Take in forgiveness. Because as you begin to forgive, what you do is the net that they try to put you in, when you begin to forgive and begin to encourage love within yourself, love cannot be controlled or confined. It has to be loud, whether it's a quiet loud, whether it's the aura cloud, it creates an aura. It has to. It You can't hide when a person love themselves. They ain't gotta walk around saying, "I love myself. I love myself. I love myself." You can see it. You can see when a person is doing self care, appreciating themselves, taking time with themselves, talking to themselves well, listening to themselves, listening to others. You can tell it. You can tell it. And it relinquishes you from lower vibrational frequencies. So you could be getting attacked all they want to, but their attacks won't stick because love doesn't confine, love doesn't condemn, love does not uh what's the word like love doesn't label. It doesn't need a label. It just is. And so when you're thinking about uh somebody who wants to control something or control another person, those are marks of the ego. The ego wants to create an illusion that because I have this and because I have that, I'm able to present myself as this. I'm able to present myself as that. I'm able to identify by these things and these labels when none of the physical characteristics of anything on this realm can go anywhere with you beyond the physical body. The only thing that can go with you is your memory, your Alaya consciousness, your Akashic records, your feelings and emotions. And because you do, if you are stepping into your sovereign power and exercising your sovereign right to reign over how you feel, regardless of what's going on around you in the physical world, what you put into your motherboard of your mind and your consciousness and your spirit elevates you here and elevates you beyond this physical body and this beyond this physical paradigm. You shift into a higher consciousness. So if you're going through gang stalking and it's bringing up a lot of things that you have went through in your past, invite it in. Because it must be time for you to look something right in the face. And if you're able to allow yourself to be the observer of something that you've experienced that you've still been hanging on to, and you're able to face it, look it right in the face, and welcome it, accept it, love it, and release it, anything that tries to piggyback off that pain, attach itself to that pain to cause any sort of chaos in your life, no longer has the power to do so because you have claimed power over your pain. Claim power over your pain.